lot of the time we can set expectations. And I'll tell you from my experience, expectations are your worst enemy. There's a difference too between expectations and goals. I think like goals can be one thing because I think those are super important, but the expectations of what something should be or what it could be or what you want it to be, it doesn't always work out like that. And that can lead to ultimate disappointment. And that's something I've struggled with over time.
I think I can see a difference between somebody who has lost their passion and I can see somebody who is striving to find their passion. The ones that are striving to find their passion is like they're trying to throw themselves at everything and nothing is sticking. And people that have lost their way or lost their passion, they're trying to find it, but they're burying it with all of their other responsibility.
One of the biggest things, like for me, I think this is true for a lot of guys, we just need to get out of our own way a lot of the time. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own worst in my head and even insecure at times, like questioning, doubt. Like once I get out of my own way, I've realized over time, it's a little bit easier and it just goes with the flow, and it's like, okay, I was kind of making this a bigger deal than it actually really is. And most of the time people are too worried about themselves anyways.
Because growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from doing the shit that you don't feel like doing. This is Discomfort Required. What's up, guys? This is Trent. Let me start that again.
You should keep all this in there, bro. Just,
for
it's always
sure.
fun.
It's absolutely going to happen. All right.
Classic. Still classic.
Welcome to Discomfort Required. I'm your host, Trent Williamson. Growth is not optional, and it's going to get uncomfortable. That's for sure. I got my good buddy Shane Ramer on here. Shane is the voice behind That Sober Guy podcast. Shane has been very influential to me. He has helped me in more ways than he thinks and knows. And on top of that, I used to be able to coach him, which was really, really great. And Shane does some really cool shit in his life. So without further ado, Shane Ramer, how are you, my friend?
Trent, it's so good to be on the podcast, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, you mentioned, you used to coach me and my wife at CrossFit in Vacaville. And dude, like, I'll just tell you right now, that coaching then, what was that, 5-6 years ago, probably now, has so much carried over into, what's that?
Oh, it was longer than that. It's been like 7.
It wasn't really? I know. The time flies by, man. I can't even keep up with what day it is some days, but that coaching then has carried up and over into my life today, bro. Like I had to go to work out this morning, actually, just
Nice.
getting going and just something simple, and just moving my body at 40. Am I 44 or 45? Somewhere. What I think it's irrelevant after 40 anyways. You're just 40s, in your 40s.
Right.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you, bro. And I'm so pumped for your podcast, man. And you said you're like 500 and something days sober right now, which is freaking awesome, dude. So,
and like, I want to let you know, man. Yeah, I want to let you know, like, the sobriety thing is like, when it happened, you get to a point where you're just sick of your shit, right? And it's like, me and my fiance, we were out to dinner for our anniversary. I had a drink and I had a really, really bad bout of depression. And it was like, I got to get this shit together and this isn't helping. Right. So I was like, I'm not going to drink for a while. Right. And my fiance, who's awesome, she's like, cool, I'll not drink with you. I'm like, you don't have to, it's fine. Like this one's on me. And, I decided then, I was like, I wasn't going to drink for a while. Right. And then I thought it was going to be really hard and like challenging to like go hang out with people. And like, it was going to be weird. And then it was like, I'm the only one that's making this weird. Why the fuck am I doing that? That's dumb. And it was like, it was one of the easiest things I've ever done, honestly. And it's like, I am so much better of a person now. I feel better. I'm higher performing. It's just, like, shit is good, man. And you are way more influential than you think you are, just so you know.
Thanks, bro.
It's dope.
When you said that, I was thinking, one of the biggest things, like for me, I think this is true for a lot of guys, is like, we just need to get out of our own way a lot of the time. Like I'm my own worst enemy. I'm my own worst, like in my head and, even insecure at times, like questioning, doubt, like all, and that's the common like goal of the enemy, right? Is to plant seeds of doubt in any person. So it's just like, once I get out of my own way and kind of let God work in that, I've realized over time, it's not perfect all the time and there's still ups and downs, no doubt, but it's a little bit easier and it just goes with the flow,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, okay, I was kind of making this a bigger deal than it actually really is. And
Yeah.
with the drinking thing, like most of the time people are too worried about themselves anyways to give two shits about what you're doing. So it's like once you realize that, you're like, oh yeah, I don't really
Oh, yeah.
fucking
It's not
care.
it's not even that
But
big fucking deal, right? For sure. So what does
yeah,
discomfort required mean to you?
yeah, it's a great question. Love the title of the show too.
Hey, thanks.
Uh, it's just like it's reps to me. I think
Mhm.
it's reps, and it's a lot of ups and downs. And I think in today's society too, in today's culture, um, we want everything fast. We want it
Mhm.
immediate. Look at the kids say, even my own kids sometimes, it's like, hey, you want to sit down and watch a movie? They got about a 2 minute and 27-second attention span.
Right.
It's like, and then I get out, and even I'm like that too. I'm kind of a spaz, and I still got, some of those tendencies, no doubt. My wife's like, "Can you just sit down?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And
I
I
can hear
can't
Jeff.
sometimes.
I
I
can
can't.
hear.
There's always something like, yeah, you relate, like there's something to do, or so like we want it immediate. We want everything fast. And unfortunately, most of the time that's not how it works. I'm not saying there aren't cases where people, hit it big, or they get, one video goes viral,
Mhm.
or whatever you're kind of talking about. But if you use that same analogy, like from like a gym perspective or a fitness perspective, like I don't just walk through the door of the gym and just get ripped in the best shape of my life in a week.
Right?
And
Unless
so
you're doing steroids.
if you do steroid,
That's
that
a
is
way,
true. You're looking maybe 2 weeks, but yeah, you
right?
can you can do that. But like
Disclaimer,
for
I am
most
not supporting
people,
steroids.
yeah, same. Me either, bro. Thank you. Yeah, but for most people who aren't doing that, yeah, it's
Mhm.
gonna take some time. So that back to the discomfort. Like, there's gonna be days when you don't want to show up. There's
Mhm.
gonna be days when you don't want to do a podcast. There's gonna be days when you don't want to do the project you're working on.
Right.
And those are the days, those mundane days, when you push through and you still put the work in. And over time, when you're consistent with that, that's when you start to see the payoffs. And a lot of the time, they're not this huge grandiose thing that we think is going to be at the big flag on top of the mountain. I mean, I'm all for doing that, but like,
Mhm.
like the win, I want to celebrate the win. And yeah, I have, visions of that too. I think a lot of people do goals and stuff, but like at the end of the day, that consistency is ultimately what pays off. And there's a lot of pain and discomfort through a lot of those times. And even with sober, I've been doing that for 11, 12 years now.
Right.
And there are plenty of times, even up until recently, when I'm like, fuck this, I'm just kind of done. Like I
Mhm.
love it. It's great. But like it's a lot some days. And the other real thing before I wrap this part up is like a lot of the time we can set expectations. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you from my experience, expectations are your worst enemy.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
difference too between expectations and goals. I think like goals can be one thing because I think those are super important, but the expectations of what something should be or what it could be or what you want it to be, it
Mhm.
doesn't always work out like that. And that can lead to ultimate disappointment. And that's something I've struggled with over time. I've gotten better at it,
Mhm.
but I try to limit those expectations and understand that this isn't a short race. This is the long game. It's a long race. And eventually I'm going to die. We all are. So, like, how do I want to remember that race? You know what I mean? How
Mhm.
do I want to remember that time?
Yeah.
So that's, I know I kind of threw in a couple different things there, but yeah, man,
Dude,
you
that's what
got
we're
to
here
put the work
for.
in and there's going to be pain,
Yeah.
there's going to be
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah. Like, we wanna hear like, I wanna hear everything you gotta say about it, right? And it's like,
Well,
I align a lot with that. No matter what, dude, if you're gonna grow, it's gonna get uncomfortable, right? Because you're getting out of your comfort zone,
yeah,
and your comfort zone is like where like that's where you go to die. Like that's just 100% it. And if you
yeah.
aren't growing, what the fuck are you actually doing? Well, we have a very finite amount of time here, and if you look at it, it is a long time, right? It is how you spend your time doing the things that bring you joy or make you hate life a little bit less, right? So like I look at things like I'm not going to be happy every day. I try to be, but it's not going to happen. If I'm just still doing shit that I'm less miserable doing, I'm having a great life, you know? And there's
Yeah.
always days where you don't want to work out and there's always days where you like fuck napping sounds great, right? But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
sometimes you just don't get a nap, bro, and those are bad days.
totally. If nap, dude, naps are so over or underrated, like so underrated. I don't get them in often, but if I can sneak in a little 30-minute here and there, dude, so good. So
Yeah, I
good.
nap way too often. It's the thing. I mean, I'm up super
Yeah,
early, and it's like some days, man, I'm like, "Fuck, I'm tired," you know? But I'm like, I'm about to be
yeah.
44. I'm right there with you, and it's like, I heard old guys need naps, bro.
Well, and I don't know the science behind. I'm not an expert on it, but I know there is science behind it. I've read little bits and pieces here and there that, obviously, and actually, it's funny we're talking about this right now. Is one thing I've realized as I've gotten into my 40s is how important sleep is.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
used to wear it like a bravado, like, oh, I slept for 4 hours, and like, yeah, I'm still going hard, and
Mhm.
like maybe I could do that in my 20s, maybe even in my 30s a little bit. I definitely can't do that now for long periods of time.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I don't get a good night's sleep, I'm off the next day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my energy sucks, my attitude sucks, like I just feel out of whack.
Mhm,
So sleep, like a lot of my clients that I work with too, like I ask them, like, because the drinking thing, obviously that's one thing.
mhm.
And say, well, how do you sleep? And obviously, if you're struggling with alcohol, your sleep's probably not going to be great either. So like aligning that is like a huge part of getting everything else aligned once you kind of get into some better habits, in sleeping, diet, exercise, those kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
things.
For sure. What's crazy is, like, when I did have that really bad bout of depression, I just wasn't sleeping well, right? It wasn't like I was drinking
Yeah.
every day. It wasn't anything like that. I was just like, I just wasn't sleeping. I had a lot of stress, and it's like
Yeah.
I didn't process a lot of bullshit that happened at the beginning of the year, like, when we had to close the gym, and there was a lot, right? And it was my
Yeah.
own dumbass fault for not asking for help sooner, right? Because, like, I was like, "I got this," I've been through therapy. I can do this. It's fine, right? And it's like, turns out
Yeah.
I was beyond fucked up. And it's like
Yeah.
addressing that, get it handled. It's, like, I cannot tell everybody out in the world how important that shit is. Like, don't hold your feelings in. Just fucking get them out. It's super important. So, what do you think sets apart a high performer? Like, there's different versions of it across the board, right? But what do you think it takes to be somebody who is a high performer?
Mindset.
Okay.
I think mindset is a lot of it. I think faith and having a connection to God is a lot of it. Obviously, there's a physical aspect to it too. But it's funny. I was just telling my daughter about this, and you remember Lucy,
Oh, yeah.
dude. If you saw Lucy right now, you would be tripping. She's 15. She drives. She's a sophomore in high school. She's beautiful.
Oh
She's
my
just
God.
this blossoming young lady. It's crazy, bro. I can't even believe it sometimes. I'm just like, wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure you'll see her eventually soon if you
Yeah.
make your way out here. I'm sure I know we're gonna connect at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But so she plays high school soccer and she plays club soccer.
Okay.
And so she just went back. We just went to Salt Lake City. She's traveling a little bit, she's getting that whole experience, like
Mhm,
that whole thing. And she struggles a little bit sometimes with the fact through all the COVID BS that we went through. We moved, we pulled her out of soccer because
mhm.
at that time, they tried to say, you got to wear masks to practice. And we're like, you're out of your mind. Like, sorry, we're not doing that. And so, we had to, we pulled her out. And so the only reason I say that is because she missed a couple of years of time that a lot of other girls got to stay in soccer and keep
Mhm.
training. And so when she went back into high school and clubs, she was a little behind the game, like physically, mentally. And so it was kind of tough for her to catch up. And so we just had this talk yesterday, and she said, well, this girl and that girl or this team or whatever, some of the high school girls,
Mhm.
like they have attitudes, and they're just not very nice, and they're good, they're good soccer players. And I was telling her, like, look, like, you are just as good as any of those girls.
Right.
But the thing that you're lacking is your mindset, your confidence. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying be an arrogant punk, but you have to be a little bit overconfident in,
Oh,
in
yeah.
some spaces, and a little bit arrogant, not disrespectful, but you have to know that you're good. And I've interviewed a lot of top athletes, and I remember I had an interview with Aubrey Huff one time, used to play for the Giants. And
Okay.
I'll never forget this. And I said, what do you think? Like when you're stepping in the box of like a major league pitcher and you're like, what are you thinking? And he
Mhm.
goes, I'm scared out of my fucking mind. He goes, but I go up to that plate every
Mhm.
time and I think I'm the baddest motherfucker out there. And I'm going
Yeah.
to absolutely destroy this guy. So
Mhm.
there's a battle there, even with professional athletes. even down to someone playing high school soccer, there's a battle between mindset in that. Am I good enough? Can
Mhm.
I do this? Will I do this? So that mindset thing is huge. And I think it just comes with, I think building that up comes with a lot of failure,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And that's why a lot of people quit because they fail and they're like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
But working through that, but like I said, those reps, that's where you start to build that. And that coming back to that, being strong and having confidence. And even when you fail, like that's a really hard time too.
Yeah.
How do you stay confident when you just failed? And I think the kind of the trick to that is there's always a lesson to be learned, even in the failure. So I
Mhm.
do try to model that even on the days when I'm like, man, screw this. I'm kind of defeated because it happens, but
Yeah.
it's the long game. Coming back to that long game and just knowing it's another wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, like, I mean, for me, and this goes for and I know this goes for you too, like, the lesson in the failure is how you get better. If you took it as face value, like, "Oh, fuck, I failed, and this is what I get, now I need to quit," like, that isn't growth. That isn't how we succeed, right? I think that's a little bit
Yeah.
how, uh, high performers can set themselves apart, having that confidence mindset and just being like, "You know what? I'm gonna give 100% of what I got, and if I give 100% of what I got, that's me performing well," right? And it's like, whether
Yeah.
you win, lose, or draw, that's what it's gonna come down to. Um, and
Totally.
mindset is everything when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to how you react in any situation, like how it goes with a verbal argument, say with your partner, or it goes with some kid's parent that's on Cash's team, and you're like, "Fuck this guy, I'm gonna fight him." Right? It's like it's all in how you react and shit. But that's like what sets other people apart. When it comes to that, what do you think is one of like the biggest mindset shifts you've had in the last 5 years?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good one. Dude, I think just trying to like be present
Okay.
and just trying to slow down a little bit. And I'm not saying when I say that, I definitely haven't mastered it. It's really hard actually.
Oh
But
yeah.
as like a revelation and understanding like how fast this life goes and how fast your kids grow up and how fast like your body changes,
Mhm.
you start to have physical things that change. Like I'm dealing with like some tendonitis in my elbow the last few months. And it's just like, I'm like, damn, okay, I'm starting to feel this is what they talk about. And so like bringing it back though to like presence and being present. I don't know if it's just me. Justin and I talk about this. I don't know if you're feeling this, Trent, if maybe anyone out there listening to this is feeling this. It just feels like ever since COVID, like everything has sped up. Everything is super fast. Like the days
Yeah.
fly by. It almost feels like a simulation.
Mhm.
I
It
know that
does.
sounds crazy, but like, something feels different. And so I think staying grounded in presence, being
Yeah.
connected to God and just being grounded, I think that's something that's helped me to slow down and just stay in the moment a little bit better. And so what that does for me too is not only does it help me stay in the moment,
Mhm.
when things happen or when I'm dealing with something, and it could be even something that's good, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything like that's bad or challenging or
Mhm.
anything. It allows me to respond in those situations versus react to.
Mhm.
So like I can take a breath, I can step back a minute. I'll give you a good example of this real fast.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before we started recording. So we got a new TV recently, right? And my wife wanted me to hang it over the fireplace. So it was like 9 o'clock at night, right? And these things, my brain, I'm a creative, dude. I'm an artist. Like I'm good at things. Like I'm handy, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
But like it usually takes me a little bit longer. I really think about it and I try to map it out so I can limit like mistakes along the
Mhm.
way, even just hanging a TV.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, I'm looking at it. She's sitting out there with me. I finally hang it in the spot and Jess is like, it's too high. And I'm like, fuck. Hey, wow, it is too high. Okay, so let me take it down. I got to because I had to do the bolts by hand. So I move it again. Oh fuck, it's too low now, right? It's too low. So by this time it's like midnight, right? After we try to like get everything going, because I'm kind of doing stuff in between. And old me, I think, not being present, not understanding like everything doesn't have to be a rush and like I don't have to
Mhm.
get mad about everything, probably really would have gotten pissed off and kicked the TV and broke it and threw it out the back door and been like, fuck this. Fuck you. Like we'll mount a phone up there and we're not watching TV. Sorry, guys. This is not happening. But like I don't do that anymore. I'm not an idiot like that.
Yeah.
I would be a jackass sometimes still, but like, so I moved it again
Mhm,
and we figured it out. There was something with the plug that was on there and we got it mounted perfect
mhm.
and it looks great, And so I went to bed at 1 o'clock. I was a little tired yesterday morning or whatever it was, but like that, I know it's kind of a funny example, but like those are like the little things in life that
Mhm.
can really piss us off and drive us crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they pour over into other things in our life. And just
Oh, yeah.
staying present and understanding that this life's short. I don't have time to get mad at dumb stuff anymore. It's been a huge, huge awakening and huge help for me.
Yeah, and I honestly think that comes with age too, man. Like, because we're pretty much the same age. I remember even in my 30s, dude, I would get irritated at very little things. Like, this is fucking bullshit. Fuck this, Now, like, patience has, like, it's next level now. I'm much more understanding and just like, okay, is this the hill I wanna die on? This probably isn't the hill that I wanna
Yeah,
die on, and
yeah,
I don't wanna look
exactly.
like a complete fucking idiot, right? Do I want this on my headstone? I don't think so.
Nope,
So, it's like, the TV doesn't win today.
it doesn't. It doesn't. And thankfully, yeah, looks good too.
Exactly, and it's not a phone taped to the wall, so you're watching shit on a phone. And I'm sure Jess is like, "Ugh, I guess this is fine." I'm just kidding, Jess. I'm just kidding. Um, so
Yeah,
when it
choose not
comes
one.
to, high performing and you see change in people, right? It's like you work with people that are going through some very difficult times, right? Or like coming sober or, not necessarily a sponsor for them, but like you're there to help them out and through things like that. Can you tell when somebody has lost their pursuit of what their passion is or if they're still on their pursuit trying to find their passion?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think you can tell if somebody is just like they're just not they're not motivated.
Okay.
Well, I don't even know if it's motivation. I think it's purpose.
Okay.
Like they've kind of lost their direction, they kind of lost their purpose. So I think, yeah, you can definitely tell. I work with a lot of guys who are really high performing dudes who have like big businesses or
Mhm,
small businesses that are just doing well and
mhm,
they have families, most of them are dads. And they're like in like society's like vision, I guess you would say they have their shit together. But like alcohol is such a roadblock for a lot of dudes out
oh,
there.
yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of dudes who have their shit together, but like they were raised in families where alcohol was very normal. Or we grew up going to baseball games and concerts and everything we did, alcohol was always like a main focal point of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's everywhere. It's legal. It's one of the
Mhm,
legal drugs out there. And so I think there's this normalcy bias behind it. And so I think what happens is a lot of guys, even though they quote unquote have their stuff together, they can get lost in that cycle of
mhm.
like working hard all week and then partying on the weekend.
Yeah,
And
oh,
then
yeah.
sometimes it starts bleeding into the week. Maybe you have a business meeting or you have a networking event and you have a couple drinks at the event on a Wednesday night and it rolls over into Thursday. And you get to a point where you just don't feel alive
Mhm,
anymore. You feel dead inside. I hear that from a lot, and I experienced that myself. I mean, that was a big one for me. I just felt so much lack of purpose, but
mhm,
it was crazy at the same time. I felt God tugging on my heart like saying like, "Gosh, like I have something more for you,"
mhm.
but there was that roadblock and there was a lot of like it's like peeling back the onion. Like if you picture the big onion is like the alcohol, like
Oh, yeah.
once I cut that out, started peeling back those layers, like then things started to open up. But yeah, I think you can tell when someone's lost their purpose. And I think that, kind of tapping back in one of the things I do to help guys tap back into that is like, what did you love to do as a kid?
Mhm,
Like, and I always use riding a bike as an example because it's like the most common one. But think back, like when you were a kid and you got on that bike and you started riding around, man, you felt free. You
mhm,
felt so free. You felt joy, genuine joy. Like it was exciting. It was fun. You had no responsibilities. You had no worries. You were just riding your bike with your buddies or
mhm,
your skateboard or whatever it is. And then we get in high school and we graduate and some of us go to college, some of us go off to trades, we start businesses, we get jobs, we get families.
mhm.
And then about before you know it, you're like 30, 35, and you're like, damn, who am I? Like I
Right?
don't go on it anymore. Like I don't do anything. I play golf maybe once every couple months, and like I just work all the time. And so, man, like trying to tap back into that. And I'll be honest, I'm going through some of that right now. Like just like I work a lot,
Mhm,
I dad a lot, which I love. I'm super grateful for. But like I'm like I got to get back into doing it's like taking some time for me
mhm.
and doing some of those hobbies that I enjoy, like
Yeah.
golf, like riding bike with my son. And so yeah, man, tapping into that purpose is huge.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel the same way, right? So like I think there's a huge difference when, like, because I work with a lot of people on mindset, being their coach when it comes to not just, being an athlete, but like I do a lot of mindset coaching, a lot of just nutrition coaching. And there's so many
Yeah.
people that I work with that, have some broken form of nutrition that has happened in their life, right? That they have some sort of eating disorder that they don't really realize that they have, like because it happened from their parents or whatever, right? But I think I can see a difference between somebody who has lost their passion and I can see somebody who is striving to find their passion. The ones that are striving to find
Yeah.
their passion is like they're trying to throw themselves at everything and nothing is sticking and they just keep trying to force things, right? And people that have lost their way or lost their passion is like they're trying to find it but they're burying it with all of their other responsibilities, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it's two different sides of the coin, but it's still just like a longing for it in a way, and it's
Totally.
like it's a trip, and getting to work so closely with so many different people and different personalities, it's really opened my eyes to like how to coach people and like how to be there
Yeah.
for them in a different way, right? So it's like you know me as a coach, like I'm not going to give you the easy way out. I'm going to call you out on all of your bullshit and it's going to be what it is because it's going to help you grow, right? That's just who I am. And when people start working with me, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is kind of cool." And then it's like we get into it and it's like 3 weeks in and they're like, wow, they're telling me their entire life story, right? They're breaking down and crying in a session where we're
Yeah.
supposed to be lifting, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm the one that's going to ask the questions that most people won't ask. Like the amount of times, so every athlete that I have, I ask them, are they happy? And most people are like, yeah, I'm happy. And I'm like, are you happy? Like think about that for a second. What is bringing you joy in life? They're like, well, I'm not really sure. Well, I like going to hockey games. I'm like, yeah, but like, what is bringing you joy genuinely? What is helping you wake up in the morning to go live your life with purpose, right? And
Yeah.
90% of anybody that I work with when I start with them has no idea. And we just have to start peeling back those layers of that onion. Just like, what the fuck do you want? And as soon as you can find
Yeah.
out like a little something of what you want, then we can start working towards it. And that's like, that's where
Totally.
my head's been, and that's where my coaching direction has gone. Like I still have athletes, but like, fuck, man, let's get the shit in between your ears straight, and then let's
Yeah.
capitalize on that.
Cool. And that's why you're one of the top performance coaches, bro, is because you're not just coaching fitness and strength, it's relationship. There's a lot more to it. It's more like you said, mindset, what we're
Mhm.
talking about right now. Like there's so much more to it and there's so much more personal stuff to it. And if you can tap into that and build relationship, everything
Mhm.
else will fall into place, man. That's
Man,
huge.
I really appreciate that. That is very kind of you to say.
Absolutely, man.
So I got a quote here. I want to bounce it off you and see your not just your take, but like how you would kind of finish the quote and give somebody advice on it. Right. So
Mhm.
one can choose to go back toward safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again by Abraham
Yeah.
Maslow. So, how would you finish that? And how would you give advice to somebody that came to you and was like,
Ooh.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing?
Can you read it one more time for
Yeah.
me,
One can
please?
choose to go back towards safety or forward towards growth.
Right.
Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again.
Yeah. So I think we have this general idea, and it kind of ties back into what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation about the quick. We want immediate gratification, right?
Mhm,
And when we fail, when somebody fails, and I used to do this too. When I fail, I just quit. I'm just
mhm,
done. Like that's it. There's no, I'm not going to go forward anymore. What we don't see is that almost every single person who's quote unquote successful, you don't see all the failures, the years of disappointment, the
Mhm.
years of frustration, the years of pain, the years of rehabilitation, recovery. Like you don't see all that stuff. Now, you might see it or hear it in a podcast later or see it in a documentary later on, 20, 30, 40 years down the
Mhm.
line. But like in today, it's just like, you're successful. I should wake up tomorrow and just be successful. I'm not going to go through any of that. It's just not how it works.
Right. It's
It's
not
just
a light
not how it
switch.
works. It's not. And, the fear aspect of it, fear is a motherfucker. Like
Mhm.
that one can get anybody at any time. And so I think there's a way to use it to your advantage and understand what it is. And I'll just speak for me personally. When I'm fearful, I go back to God every time. God,
Mhm.
why am I fearful? And also another thing, what that my mentor and one of my great friends, Buddy C, had taught me over the years. He said, like, when you're angry, especially anger is a really big one, right?
Mhm.
Like maybe we get up at our kids or we have an argument with our wife or we're pissed off at someone at work or whatever. Don't focus so much on what that is first. Ask yourself, what am I scared of?
Mhm.
Like, what am I fearful of right now? And a lot of the times, almost every time you come back to that, you'll figure out a way to work through some of that stuff because it comes back on us at the end of the day. So
Absolutely.
like it does. And that's when we get to a point where we can ask ourselves that instead of the blame game.
Mhm.
I played the blame game for a long time and that doesn't help anybody.
No.
So yeah, just understanding that for me that there's something higher,
Mhm.
that I can rely on, that's an anchor to me. When I get fearful and go, I don't have all the answers. I'm not in control of this. I'm just trying to do the next right thing.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna let God lead me. And that doesn't mean be a lazy ass. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I just lay on the couch and be like, God, help me. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that.
Right.
So it's being active, it's being actively disciplined and
Yeah.
getting out there and doing what you got to do. But once again, limiting those expectations,
Mhm.
understanding that I'm just going to do the next right thing and it'll work out. It always
No,
works out. Might not be exactly how I wanted, but it's going to work out.
for sure. And like I agree with that 100%, right? And I look at it like this, and I explain most of this to most people is like, hey, on the other side of fear is where you're going to grow the most. Because as soon as you face a fear, or like, say you're scared to take the next leap on like a small business, or you're scared to ask for a raise, or like if you're scared, you're just going to keep you in that same spot, right? Challenge it, right? Don't be scared. Just go for it, right? Like, what's the worst going to happen? You're
Yeah.
going to end up in the same spot, or were you going to move forward? Like, come on, it's not the end of the world, right? Um, and it's like, just grow, just do the damn thing, And yeah, man, that's just what it is, Like we're not none of us are going to be able to just flip a light switch and be like, oh, we're billionaires unless some crazy shit happens,
Yeah.
right? But like, just work your ass off, be a good person, fucking don't be an asshole. Yeah, man, I beyond appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah.
So
Anytime.
let everybody know where they can find you. And we're also going to be doing like a follow up episode where we can like sit down and we can chat a little bit longer. I have a really cool idea for
Yeah.
one. We're going to talk about how to make life suck less. So it's going to be dope.
I love it. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for having me on, sir. One thing I love about you, bro, is, um, you always know how to have a good laugh, man. And I mean that in the best, we talk about things that are motivating and
Mhm.
exciting, and we want to better our mindsets and our bodies and our overall health, and like our spiritual game, our business game, all that. But like, it's always fun to have conversations with you because we can laugh together and we can joke around and we can take it serious, but we can also not take it so
Yeah.
serious. And that's it's one of my favorite things about you. And it's also one of my favorite rules. They said this, I learned this 10 plus years ago, rule 62. Don't take yourself so damn serious. And sometimes I need a reminder of that, and so you kind of help with that even today, man. Just laughing a little bit. I really needed it today, man.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. And it's like one thing about is like we can go a long time without talking. It's like we didn't miss shit. You know what I mean? And I love
Yeah,
that about you.
exactly.
And
E-
it's like, you
Exactly,
know,
bro.
uh
Yep.
uh
So
I
you
can't
you can you can find. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go shoot.
I was gonna say you can find all of our stuff at thatsoberguy.com. We have a great men's community called the Victory Circle. So there's a lot of dudes in there from all over the country, man, just that are sober, that are trying to stay sober, that are running businesses, that are running marathons, doing all kinds of different cool stuff in there. And it's free to join. So you can find that at thatsoberguy.com.
Okay.
I also, well, I didn't do a lot of, I didn't really do any promoting at this, but I wrote a book that came out recently, Sober Guy, How Do
Oh,
I? Real answers for men who want to quit drinking, lead strong, and win at life. And it's a real easy read, man. Some of the it's not really designed to be like you don't have to read it from, beginning to end, I guess.
right.
But it's just got different chapters like Sober Guy, how do I deal with cravings and triggers,
Yeah.
or how do I deal with stress without drinking, just stuff like that. So you can find them on Amazon. It's like $7.99, but it's a good little book just to help guys out there. Take a look at what some of if you're having some issues with alcohol,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean you're an alcoholic and you got to
Mhm.
go to meetings. Maybe you do. I don't know. I mean, that's up
Yeah.
for the person to decide, but sometimes we just need a little insight into some things. And that's what the book helps guys do. So
Also, why didn't you
yeah,
tell me you
that's
wrote a fucking book?
sober.com. What's that?
Why didn't you tell me you wrote a fucking book?
I don't know, man. I probably need to promote it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that just it had been sitting like in my docs forever. And I
Okay.
finally just, you know how it is, you just get super motivated and I like banged and finished it out in like a week. And
Nice.
then I just put it out and just haven't had time to really do much with
All
it.
right.
But yeah, it's cool to have. And yeah.
I'm gonna put the link in the show notes for that book for sure. I'm gonna pick one up because I didn't know I would have already owned it by now. I know you got to run. I will put your contact info and stuff in all the show notes and everything. And Shane, again, thank you
Awesome.
so much for being here, dude. It's so good seeing you.
Yeah. Love you, Trent. Thank you,
Love you.
bro.
Love you too, bro.